We are very privileged to be with you, particularly our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean and the diaspora. And the people from all over Africa, our brothers and sisters from all over Africa. I wish at this point to particularly to apologize deeply on behalf of the chiefs and people of Gold Coast and Ghana for the atrocities, the cruelty, the inhuman treatment that were committed 400 years ago by my ancestors during the Atlantic slave trade, where over 400 years ago, millions of our brothers and sisters were captured, sold, and transported under inhumane and cruel circumstances through Elmina Castle across to the Caribbean and to the New World. On behalf of the chiefs and people of Ghana, I do render unqualified apology, deep from the bottom of our hearts. Deep from our bottom of our hearts. But one thing that I want you to be aware of, it was not without resistance. Some of our chiefs did fought and resisted. Some of our people did fought and resisted. But we are fighting a losing battle against a stronger army. People with guns, and we had no guns. They deceived us with liquor and all other temptations. Whatever the circumstances that led us to us, we stand here to render apology. And it's my wish and prayer that this apology is accepted. Is accepted deep by our brothers and sisters from the diaspora. May the blood of Jesus assist us to overcome that evil, that never again should we witness this cruelty, this inhuman cruelty of man to man in this country. I thank you, and once again, on behalf of the chiefs and people of Ghana, we do render this apology. And I ask my colleague to add a few words to what I have said to you. And it's my wish and prayer that in the name of the blood of Jesus, you do accept our apology. Thank you very much.
We stand here once again symbolically at the gate of no return. We stand here as husband and wife. We stand here as the African male and as the African woman, the African family, the African community, the representatives of an African nation in a diaspora. We have come to say that we've heard your words. We have discerned through our experience and through our journey that what the devil meant for evil, God meant for good. Through all our trials, through all our tribulations, God has a plan. That plan involves us standing together.
This is stupid to call yourself African American. See, that gives them the opportunity to take your money because the fact that you say African American, how you be from two places at one time? When you say you African, you label yourself an African. Listen to that, African American, African American. You put African first, then you put American second. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm American Indian," American Indian. That states who you are and what you are and what land you on. You go, I'm African American. African American? I never called myself African American. And until y'all get that shit straight, they're going to get that money. Because y'all still living yourself African American. Y'all still putting Africa in front of America. Okay? I'm not no African American. And I don't know which one of y'all is trying to tell me who I am and what I'm. Y'all don't know who I am. And if y'all do.
Hold up. Damn, you hear all that I don't give a F-U-C-K energy? You hear all that I don't give a damn what you say, it's what I say, like it or not? Oh, he just putting all that energy on the table. Tell it how it is, my good brother. Notice, fam, this ain't the Black Lives Matter era. This ain't the why don't you like me? I try to be nice to you. This is the damn you. You don't like it? Cool. Goodbye. Peace the fuck out. That's the energy that we bring it. Don't let nobody tell you who the hell you are. You've always been who you are. Whether they acknowledge it or not, we acknowledge that we better than them and they best to deal with it. Tell them how it is, black man.
Do call me African American, I'm going to smack you. Because the fact is, you disrespectful. I'm an Indian. That's all to it. American Indian. No African in it. No African in my blood at all.
I find it hilarious that people that flee from their own country, that cannot build their own country up, that cannot make their own country safe, you are scared to live in your own country. Come to America and try to talk crap. See, the difference with other people and Black Americans is we've never ran from anything. We stayed and flat-footed fought whatever was sent to destroy us. That's the difference between us and all of the rest of the minorities, if you're ever wondering. That's the very difference.
Why would I go to Africa when you're moving here? You're moving here and staying here. You're not going back. And this is not hearsay, because unlike many of my people, I've actually had community with people. I've had community with Africans. Y'all not trying to go back. Slowly but surely, you bring your family over here. Yeah, y'all want us to go to Africa to live and invest. I don't think so. It's not going to happen. Okay, this is our home. You're going to have to accept it. And if you can't accept it, well, you do have a whole continent of options. You get good day, sir.
Freeze. I mean, did the sister not say the 3 billion pound African elephant in the room? Did she not say the 300-pound zebra in the room? I'm just keeping it real. Why are you telling us about us while you over here around us? Because you could easily go home. And you got that big continent that you like to brag about. So I'm asking, why ain't you in that continent? This is another tethered contradiction. But let me give you an FBA fact and receipt. Brothers and sisters up in New York City been filming a lot of videos about this African boycott. And what I've been seeing is a lot of them African shops, they took the day off. Yes, indeed. Family social media is littered with a gang of videos from FBA, and they walking around to the African shops. And on August 1st, them African shops are shut down. Why they shut down? Because they knew they was going to get shut down regardless. Watch this brother pull up, and he said they all gone. And he said he on their heels too. FBA keep winning. Tethers keep swimming.
Oh, all right. Better not be nobody in there. Empty. I better stop playing. I'm on your heels.
Black Americans, when they get to talking like this, I want y'all to know that we don't owe a nigga. See, what I notice about these other groups of people, especially these other groups of blacks, is that they like to use shaming tactics or say things that they supposedly did for us as an excuse of why they get to come here and disrespect us or why we need to be united or acknowledge them. And that's why we here to set the record straight. Watch this. To all the Africans, we are not all from Africa. Some of us are indigenous to America. We don't know you, boy. My family's from Miami and St. Louis. I don't owe you. We don't owe you no unity. We're not one big family. You don't get here. You don't get to come here and be disrespectful. To the Mexicans, y'all ain't contribute to the runaway slaves. That was the black Mexicans. Y'all ain't do shit. And then y'all the black Mexicans in Mexico. We don't owe you nothing, boy. To all the Haitians, kudos and credit to what you did on Haiti, but that ain't do for us in America. We don't owe you. We've been revolting since 1526. We've been like that and been on that, on this larger landmass. It's not no small island.
Damn.
We've been putting BTA to these crackers since 1526 in all 50 states. We don't owe you nothing. No unity, no recognition. No, we do not look up to you. And folks, we forced y'all to sign them paperwork for freedom. You already knew what kind of time we was on. It was going to go down one way or another. You know what I'm saying? For the Florida Semblers to the Nat Turners, it wasn't going to stop. Y'all just got wise and went ahead and said, let's go ahead and sign these documents. We don't owe y'all nothing. Y'all ain't got no hearts. Y'all ain't got no souls. You would have kept this shit going if it wasn't for these BTAs across all 50 states. And last but not least, the Native Americans. Y'all owe us.
Get them.
Because the last time I checked, that U.S. Treaty of 1866 that them boys made y'all sign said that you owed the freemen, the slaves that you had during slavery and after slavery, the same reparations that the boys was giving you. So that's the land, the reservations that you on. You're supposed to be sharing that with us. The government funding that you're getting, something that's supposed to be going to us. And you owe us natural citizenship into your tribes. I'm supposed to be with the Seminoles right now. So what's up?
This is stupid to call yourself African.
Man. Let me tell you something. When foundational Black America,
Get out of my country.
Big Trump and not the little one on that, ending that bilingual requirement in the United States. Come on, Trump, come through like an 18-wheeler. I mean, that made so much sense for you to do. I'm so happy that you did that. Listen, the fact that people have been saying you need to be bilingual in order to get any type of job in the United States, boo, blows my mind. Instead of saying you need to learn to speak English when you touch down in the United States, that's no form of hate. That's no form of nothing. That's form of common sense. English is our first language here. And if you want to move here and be amongst the Americans and join America, you need to learn to speak English so you can service the people who speak English. Yeah. I know everyone speaks all these other languages. Most Americans, we don't understand none of that. English is the first language. Let's go, Donald Trump.
Yeah. Big talk, man. I'm back again, man. See, I'm happy what Trump did, man. See, Trump, you know, it come through like the A train. You hear me? It come through like the A train. Setting the law for this whole bilingual thing. No more bilingual. That means when you go to a job and you fill out your application or you do it online, there will not be an option with say bilingual. It's no more. But that's a big thing in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Because you got certain jobs down here, you got to be a bilingual. You know what I'm saying? Certain certificates, certain license, and you know what I'm saying? No, that shit ain't going down like that. No.
Did he just say no more Espanol, bitch? Okay, listen. Trump is doing more for the Black community than any other president has ever done. Because guess what that just opened up, y'all? Guess what it just opened up? The job market. Okay. The job market. Listen, there have been times where I've been trying to apply for a job, and because the whole application is in Spanish, i.e. Marriott hotel housekeeping job, I wanted that job so bad. They paid great. They gave great tips. But could I do it? No, because me no speak no Espanol.
remember when the Democrats told us, what you mean black jobs? He's so racist. He said that the illegals was taking black.
The fuck? No more fucking bilingual. Like other places don't offer multilingual services. They don't have an English option. There's no English option in other countries. But y'all come here and then y'all want to fucking make jobs and be like, only you have to be able to speak Spanish. You have to be able to speak Mandarin. You got to be able to speak Russian. Bitch, no, I speak English and you're in my country. Get the fuck. Thank you, Trump. Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough.
Speak English or get out of my country.
Big Trump and not the little one.
There they go. Fam, that goes back to what they sending out all the tethers now, and the tethers are making it look like black Americans, y'all better get on board because it's going to be one big Africa soon. Y'all know what time it is.
So while African Americans have decided that they're going to be boycotting African businesses August 1st. Spike Lee, the American filmmaker and seasoned author, and his wife, Tonya, they have decided, they have signed paperwork with Benin Republic to be their ambassador. So these two super talented individuals are going to be the ones to stand in the face of bringing more African Americans to Benin Republic, whether for tourism's sake or whether to stay. I think it's a brilliant idea, because given what's happening right now, is as if we have forgotten how far we've come as people. For us to sit down and say,
we've forgotten how far we've come? What do you mean we? What you talking about, Miss Joloff? You mean we in terms of FBA? We've come so far. Y'all has still over there with the colonizer right now. The colonizer's the one paying for all of this. Who the hell do you think is the one paying for this? Because the Nigerian government's in bed with the same people who are colonizing your homeland. Fam, y'all notice they're always trying to tell us things about Africa and saying we need to get together because we are all going back to Africa. The people who are financing and bankrolling all of this are the same white Americans who the African leaders are in bed with. And they don't even know it, but they want to come and try to lecture us about supremacy. Spike Lee's getting the bag from the Democrats. His wife is getting a bag from the Democrats. Don't try me, Miss Fufu.
We are going to go to war with each other. It means we have exhausted every means to communicate with each other. You know, Kwame Nkrumah, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King, all these men and women, right, who have fought to bring us to this level, to this space. These people are probably turning in their grave.
Don't bring up Martin Luther King. Don't bring up Malcolm X. There they go again, fam. Notice that they always bring up people who are from America. Y'all notice that, right? They don't ever bring up African leaders, African pillars, African activists that promoted a Pan-Africanism, a unity with us. They always bring up us to try to talk about unity with them. They don't ever have any examples from people who are from Africa. Tell me someone from Africa who has been on the forefront of this, because anybody from Africa that ever talked about rocking with us, y'all took them out. Y'all the ones who unalived all the leaders that had a pro-African message. You want to know the quickest way to get ran out the pain in Africa? Talk about doing something good for Africa. And it won't even be the W. It'll be another African who does it to you. So don't keep using Black American activists. This is why they're upset, fam. Is because we calling them bluff on all that. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. And then when they start bringing up Stokely Carmichael, he came over here to get it popping in America. And it's cool, much respect. And then when they start bringing up Marcus Garvey, he came over here to get it popping. Okay, so every single thing that you say in terms of examples are still people who had to come to America. Give me the African who was promoting that message, and then tell me if they're still around or did y'all take them out?
The Harriet and all those women that have stood just to make sure that
the Harriet, the family. Did she just say the Harriet? Do you mean Harriet Tubman? Did she just say the Harriet? She don't even know her name. She don't even know her name, but got the nerve to make me a TikTok video on Tether Time. She just disrespected Harriet Tubman because you don't even know who Harriet Tubman is. Same way you don't know about resistance supremacy. Same way you don't know about FBA, Black Americans, freedmen, what y'all grandma, what my grandma, what your grandpa, what my grandpa been through. You don't know none of that. All you doing is just tether babbling because you trying to get us on board to save your homeland and pay off your debt to the colonizer. She just said the Harriet. She don't even know the lady's name. Now, would any foundational Black American say, what's that lady name? The Harriet and the P. Newton? Or what about the Seal? What about the Hampton Fred? What about the ex Malcolm? What? This is disrespectful, family. And all of this, why she's trying to lecture us. This is that tether babble.
Harriet and all those women that have stood.
Nope. And then she says, all those women. Name some of them. Name some of the women. How many foundational Black American women do we got to pick from? She just said the Harriet and all those women. What the hell does that mean, Miss Joloff? And I'm wondering why the hairline is way on top of Spike Lee's glasses. Okay, it's supposed to be forward. She said the Harriet And all those women, no respect for our women. And foundational Black American women have been the strongest women. If you want to talk about fighting supremacy, no woman on the earth has ever done as much as foundational Black American women. Our women outclass their men. You right now go find me an African man, and I'll put up my baddest FBA sister. And my sister has outclassed their men. This is why she's sitting there talking about some the Harriet and all them women. She ain't got nothing to say. She don't say Assata Shakur. She don't say Kathleen Cleaver. She left all of that out.
Their graves, the Harriets and all those women that have stood just to make sure that we are able to sit in unity. And now you want to tell me that we are boycotting each other? Whether if it's Africans that are deciding to boycott African Americans, I won't be a part of it. If it's African Americans that are deciding to boycott Africans, I won't be a part of it, because it is senseless on every level. You can decide who you want to be called, but to fight against each other means we are missing the point. While we are at it, people are making the world better, by doing this. So I just thought this was a great way to hopefully bring us back to center and remind us of how far we've come. It's not about fighting each other. It's about finding ways to create a dialogue that bridge our gap with respecting our differences, right? That's all I gotta say, man. Emotion is my name. I'm a visual storyteller who happens to be visually impaired, and I love covering African stories. So while African American
family, did she just sit there and tell all of us, look at this right here, and the numbers are jumping all over the damn place. Boy, they did this a couple days ago. And it ain't even enlightening outside. What they say, get your ass up, it ain't even wet over here. Okay, but let me tell you something. This is some certifieds over here. Okay, I see the chat moving again, and we back at it to win. Here we go. Watch this lady start talking about our reparations, fam, but she don't talk about us. Watch this, and this is exactly what I mean. And before we proceed to give you what you need, fair use, fair use, fair use is about teaching, scholarship, research, and commentary. Fair use, fair use, fair M-effing use. Watch this.
Justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. Let me note that when we speak of reparations, in addition to the acknowledgement and sorrow for past wrongs, we recognize that repair and compensation must be made for wrongs suffered through the transatlantic slave trade, the indigenous genocide, and the colonialism that we endured. And also, my friends, for the denial of fair access to resources for development, which has continued to bedevil us to the present. I remind us that the African continent and the Caribbean community started the journey of independence with a deficit of resources, a deficit of fairness and opportunity. As we seek to right that wrong through reparatory justice, the next generation must commit to meet the second part of the challenge, which is to lead us, the sons and daughters of Africa, into a transformation of our personhood through self-repair. It cannot be disputed that 2025 presents a key moment in the global discourse on justice and reparations.
She didn't even say Black America. Fam, she just completely left us out. Watch this again. She specifically left us out. Watch this. This is the Prime Minister of the Barbados.
And also, my friends, for the denial of fair access to resources for development, which has continued to bedevil us to the present. I remind us that the African continent and the Caribbean community
the African continent and the Caribbean community. No talk about FBA. And nobody will be talking about reparations if it wasn't for FBA. How do you know? It's because why is reparations such a big deal to the planet Earth? It's because of foundational Black Americans. I'm one of the people who spoke at the largest reparations rally in American history. And you ain't seen none of this. She just straight up said Africa and the Caribbean. And that just so happens to be the same people who are always disrespecting us together whenever they're making their TikTok videos.
Present. I remind us that the African continent and the Caribbean community started the journey of independence with a deficit of resources, a deficit of fairness and opportunity. As we seek to right that wrong through reparatory justice, the next generation must commit to meet the second part of the challenge, which is to lead us, the sons and daughters of Africa, into a transformation of our personhood.
The next generation. See, fam, they thinking down the road. They want the reparations from your baby. They want the reparations from your child. We're over here talking about standing on business for the next generation. Y'all see how they skip
ambassadors. They are tasked with bringing people of African descent closer to their roots. In fact, the tour is also expected to raise awareness among people of African origin.
We don't care
It's not going to change anything. Let their asses go over there. They career been washed up anyway. We ain't seen a good movie from Spike Lee in I don't know how long. How long? You're just popular because she do little TikTok dances and because of her husband. We already utilize their services in America. So if they want to go over there, go right ahead. We don't care. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I swear, you cannot tell me that the Democrats are not behind majority of this bullshit. I'm willing to bet that they poked them, they tapped them on the shoulder, was like, hey, listen, there's a lot of talk going on right now with people in your community. They are literally trying to separate themselves from Africa. So what we need for you to do, we need for y'all to come over here and get y'all citizenship. We're going to pay y'all handsomely. And then maybe they'll be like, oh, look, Sierra and Spike Lee, they identify with being African. They going to go ahead. They did they 21andMe. Or they 23andMe, they did they ancestry.com. So if y'all do it, they gonna go ahead and just throw away this whole talk about being, American, being only Black American and being indigenous to America. Like, no, let's get rid of that. Like, let's stop that talk because they gonna mess up our bag. They gonna mess.
Fam, y'all notice how this sister's putting it together? Now, this sister ain't seen the receipts that Black Alpha put on the table. You dig? She ain't seen the receipts that we done pulled out showing you that they getting that bag. But y'all notice that she sees the same thing that we seeing at the same exact time? Yes, the hell you do. Look at that. She knows exactly what it is. Democrats, it ain't working. Tethers, it ain't working. At this point, the Democrats and the tethers, I call them tethercrats, y'all are an embarrassment. Nothing you're doing is working. You're melting down and crashing out. You got the tactics of a 2-year-old, and FBA is exposing y'all, running you out the damn paint.
Gonna mess up our game. We trying to replace them. Don't you see that? We need y'all help so we can continue to replace them with foreigners. We trying to brown out America. We trying to brown them out. Y'all be getting washed up. Listen, I tried it. Look, hey, they rich. They can do whatever they want to do. They can do everything they want to do, but what they should be doing. Why y'all ain't use that money and that time and that effort to try to rebuild something in y'all communities, in y'all cities? Like, Lee, you from New York. Why you allowing the gentrification of your neighborhood? Why you allowing Eric Adams and Holcomb to do all the bullshit that they doing out there in New York? Here, you from Atlanta. Why you ain't working on rebuilding some of the things that goes on down there? Like, y'all full of shit. This is why I say stop following these celebrities. Y'all only worthy for us to talk about and laugh at. That's it. That's it.
Didn't I just say all they are?
I might even mention it, but the reality is, guys, at this point, the Trump administration has already made their case regarding TPS for Haiti, and it is coming to an end. So you've got to prepare for it. Number two, if you do not already have a removal order, there's a very strong possibility that they will issue a notice to appear in immigration court. But not to worry, because for some of you, you will receive a far out date. 2028, 2029, or maybe even 2030, because that's where the immigration courts are at this time. For the first hearing, the second and final hearing will be scheduled for a date much further away. So there's plenty of time to strategize with an attorney about what you can do about your case. Number three, if you already have a removal order issued against you, and some of you do because we've worked with you in the past, speak with an immigration attorney to find out whether there's a way for you to reopen that case. Get on it right away, guys. Do not hesitate. You might have a reason. Unfortunately, TPS for Haiti is coming to an end on September 2nd. Your work permit is also ending on September 2nd. Here's what you should be thinking about as your lawful status is.
Here's what you should be thinking about. You messed up. You came to somebody else's homeland. You disrespected them. You should have been friendly. And now you going home. That's what you need to be thinking about. And fam, home is waiting on them because I told y'all back home. Watch this guy. This man is telling everybody, don't trust these Africans. Watch, fam. Don't let these tethers get it twisted. They don't like each other. Don't let these tethers get it twisted. They despise each other. Don't let these tethers get it twisted. They only mad at FBA because when foundational Black Americans is living our best life, they going to be throwing all types of jollof, curry chicken at each other. There's some tether problems going on. Watch this.
Trust no African At this point, I do not know who need to hear. Do not trust no African. At this point, I do not know who need to hear this, but African nationals, do not trust them. I always giving African nationals the benefit of the doubt, and they always proving me wrong in one way, shape, or form. Why African nationals are here talking about they're glad their ancestors sold slaves? They're glad their ancestor sold them by the ship. They're so proud that the ancestors sold the useless ones. What the fuck you on the internet talking about? If you argue with FBA, talk about FBA bullshit. Why you telling people that? And I you wanna see how much likes these pussy will get. You wanna see how much likes they get. And I'm sure it's other African liking those bullshit, because there's no one from the Caribbean or the South America or the North America in their right mind, or Europe, that are in the Arabs who will get sold in their right mind to like those videos. So I know.
Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that all that African and Caribbean connection, oh, that's just to go against FBA because y'all don't really get along with each other. Y'all don't really rock with each other. This man said he don't trust no African. Look at it. Don't trust these Africans. Here's why. And then he giving you all this reason. Look at he mad. You mad. That man mad as hell. He mad as hell. These people don't get along. These people don't like each other. These people got so much vitriol for one another, family. You can't make it up. So how come they talking about FBA being xenophobic? Looks like they xenophobic amongst themselves. We're right now about to expose the immigration crisis that's sweeping across the whole continent of Africa. Yes, everybody. Africa right now has the biggest immigration crisis in the whole world. And I'm not talking about African immigrants coming to America or going to Europe. I'm talking about within the borders of Africa. They are having the biggest migrant crisis that they've ever seen. And people are getting unalived about it. So no, Sierra can go on over there. Ludacris can go on over there. But we, FBA, we staying the hell away from there because we don't give a damn.
All those thousands of likes, I know it's African liking it. African. I'm not saying you won't have exception, but right now, I'm saying do not trust no African at all. They're willing to sell you out for a buck. They're willing to sell you out for $1. Not saying no.
Don't trust no African. They willing to sell you for $1. You heard what he said. He said, don't trust them. They willing to sell you. Damn. Sound like these people saying the same thing that they get mad at FBA for saying. This is Jamaican. This is Jamaican, man. Fam, this is a Jamaican telling you about Africans. They can't put that jacket on FBA. They can't put that jacket on us. This man is not a foundational Black American. This man is not from the United States. Y'all want to know where he's from? This man is from Jamaica, right near the beach. Boy, he ain't one of us. Hell no.
Other one we don't sell you out, but trust me, someone on here glorifying what their ancestor did by selling slaves.
Damn.
Selling someone to another race to control their own flesh and blood.
Damn.
Are you coming here in this modern time, knowing all the history, telling me you glad your ancestor do that?
Damn.
Yo, go suck on the mother. You are not different from FBA. You are the same thing as you are worse than FBA. You are 100.
Whoa! He said you are worse than FBA. I told you, these tethers, this man don't like FBA, but he's saying he don't like the Africans more. So it shows you again, tether on tether crime, and FBA over here just popping popcorn, flipping pancakes, and watching. That man said, don't talk about FBA, because what you do is worse. There ain't no diaspora unity, y'all. No, this man calling out Africa more than anybody.
From FBA, you are the same thing as you are worse than FBA. You are 100 times worse than FBA. Shame on you. Shame on you for overreaching. Why are you talking about FBA and you overreaching like that? You're talking everybody else who were involved in the slave trade, which is over several dozen countries.
Damn. That's what they want foundational Black Americans to get involved with? This is what they want FBA to drop everything in our homeland, fam. We doing too damn good. Y'all notice this, fam? They always want to tell us how bad we're doing. And they always tell us that because they want us to leave what we got going so great. All right. They know we doing too damn good. They know we doing too good. So now they saying, well, y'all need to just leave all the goodness y'all got. No, ain't gonna be no leaving. Ain't gonna be no leaving. We good right here. See, we're doing so damn well is why they want us to leave. That's what it's about. And this man, apparently, he's saying that he got a quarrel, and a quirk with them. And everything that he's saying about Africa is the same exact thing. They don't ever want to show you that side. They don't want to show you the side of Africa and Jamaica and the Caribbean that ain't rocking with each other. See, if they ever had to show you that, then that means people would be exposed, and they don't want them folks to be exposed. But more and more, you're seeing Africans coming out and
My
other Africans.
I'm shipping off your textbooks.
Be quiet. They're showing a bunch of other Africans, and these people are going after each other. Why are these people going after each other, family? It's because they understand that they're never going to make it to America. They're never going to get here to the United States.
Did you know that
so
ancient
the best thing
Babylon?
for them to do is just
Black
throw the other
Americans are
African
ready
under
to-
the bus, start turning on each other, go back and forth with each other, and make it clear that foundational Black Americans, we hold down foundational Black America, and you can't hold down your own village. When you can't hold down your own village, you start doing a bunch of tribal stuff. Now that tribalism that we've been exposing, now that tribalism is starting to come to the forefront. Y'all look at this right here as we talk about it. This is what's going on over there in Africa, y'all. Let me show y'all what's going on over in Africa. Can we talk about the crisis that they got over there? Watch this right here. This is in Africa right now as we talk. They're denying people any access to hospitals or any access to healthcare.
It belongs to South Africans. Ibile privileges ama South Africans lingamahal. All the services, so clinic it belongs to South Africans. Ibile privileges ama South Africans lingamahal. All the services, all the nurses, all the resources belong to South Africans. If you know yourself, like you are not South African, please get out of the line, move out of the line. Section 17 of 2002, Law Act 13, yeah, Immigrants Act, yeah, South Africa, all foreigners should seek medical help from private clinics and private hospitals. Whoever has a problem can go and consult with the police or consult with the Home Affairs there at NAFCO.
This man is telling all of them that services are, this is in South Africa. He's saying if you are not South African, then you don't get access to no type of health care. Get the hell out. That's what he's saying. You see it. I'm seeing it. We watching it, family. You see, these people don't rock with each other. And this is going on all across Africa. These people are having all types of conflicts over immigration. They don't want anybody there because they understand that they are getting their resources taken away from foreigners. So meaning the same thing that they try to claim that FBA be tripping on, which we don't, they're out there tripping big time. And they're actually out there denying people. I thought it was diaspora love.
Yeah, Immigrants Act, yeah, South Africa, all foreigners should seek medical help from private clinics and private hospitals. Whoever has a problem can go and consult with the police or consult with the Home Affairs there at NAFCO. If you know yourself that you're not South African, please don't even dare, don't try us. Move out of the line.
Damn.
So, clinic,
Damn. Whoa. Somebody said tether wars. Absolutely. This is what we're going to call it. Absolutely. These are tether wars, family. They got some tether wars going on. And he was just telling the people, you can't get nothing. This right here, family, we're going to highlight it because they got all these problems with foundational Black Americans. We ain't doing none of that. We ain't saying none of that. That's just what they saying. They saying that to each other. So I got to ask the question, how can you have so much hate for foundational Black Americans when we're not saying none of that type of stuff to y'all? Hell, y'all coming over here and y'all getting resources off of the shoulders of FBA and y'all kicking each other out of your homeland. These folks ain't getting along at all
Y'all
over
let
there,
Gucci
y'all.
slide.
They never
Y'all
got
let
along over there.
H&M slide.
They're out there
Y'all
right
let
now in South
Lululemon
Africa
slide.
running
But
every non-South African person the hell out of Dodge. The hell out of Dodge. Because that's the way these people move and that's the way they function and operate. Foundational Black Americans, I'm talking about all of us, certified Black society. The thing that we do the most is that we ride with each other. We ain't got no problem with you if you ain't got no problem with us. they cannot stand newcomers to their country. You come over to their country, family, and they ready to turn up on you. The same people, you got folks going around right now that are randomly just picking out foreigners. So how can you come and tell foundational Black Americans that we being xenophobic, or tell foundational Black Americans we need to get along with y'all when we're looking at the immigration crisis in Africa and nobody's talking about the immigration crisis in Africa? Nobody's saying the damn thing about it. Same dude. Watch this guy again, fam. Kicking people out, saying this is for us. Watch this.
If you get a you are going to Crisane Paraguay, South African IT. But come no foreigners allowed in Crisane Paraguay, South African ID. No foreigners, no asylum, no passport. South African ID. Only South Africans are allowed here. South African ID, no foreigners allowed.
Right, good point. I didn't even catch that in the chat. Good point. Y'all notice this man running around with a big old switch? He running around with a switch. This is what you seeing over there, fam. They're having all types of immigration crisis. Watch this. Watch this right here.
We know we are all into one. What is the purpose of Nigerians having present a country?
And this is different. The last guy was in South Africa. This is a Nigerians must leave Ghana. So you got South Africa against everybody. You got Nigerians versus Ghana and all of the above. And he's not happy.
Ghana. What are they coming here to do? Then they are killing us. Time will come, you and I. Our children cannot go out and buy something and come back. You cannot go night and go and buy your Indomie. You and I cannot go back at night and come home peacefully. Look at what they did to our mother in Nigeria Commission. Ghana High Commission in Nigeria. High Commission in Nigeria. They kill her from this camp. They kill her. Why Nigerians? Are you the only people in Ghana? Are you the only people in the world? China is chasing Nigeria. South Africa is chasing Nigeria. Uganda is chasing Nigeria. Why Nigeria? Especially the Igbos and the so-called Igbo king. This is a message to him. It's to be very, very vigilant. For himself again in this land again. Thank you. So we know we are all into one. What is the purpose of Nigerians having present a coming?
Damn. Xenophobia running all across over there, ain't it? Man, it's a hell of a lot of xenophobia. Man, I don't want nothing to do with that xenophobic rhetoric. They kicking people out, saying you got to go. And now a bunch of Africans who usually are always mad at foundationals, a lot of those Africans now are making low-key videos about each other. Yep, there's a lot of them same Africans that y'all have seen who always make videos and content about foundationals. Now they're making videos and content about each other. Okay, so now this game is changed, rearranged, and foundationals knew this the whole time. Don't go over there, family. Don't go over there. Don't let none of these people tell you to go over there. Quite frankly, it ain't safe. It is not safe for a foundational Black American. That's what they're doing to Africans. They're doing that right now to Africans, and they want foundational Black Americans to get involved. Man, we ain't getting involved in none of that. That ain't our problem. That ain't our problem at all, and you're not going to make their problems our problems because we're not the same. If I say we're not the same, then we're going to be not the same when it comes to going over there. So the immigration, migration crisis going on across the whole continent of Africa, it's powerful, and it's absolute xenophobia. So again, why y'all's worried about FBA when you need to be worrying about that man running around with a switch? He got a switch. Family, I'm telling y'all, Africans make Donald Trump look like he's open borders. That's what fam,
the biggest enemy to
Africans truly make Donald Trump look like he's the most open borders person in the world. Because if you examine immigration, then you got to ask this question. How come Africans are always talking about immigration, right? But whenever they flee amongst Africa, it always turns into a conflict. They flee typically to Europe or America. If y'all the biggest continent with the most languages, how come y'all don't just flee amongst Africa? You know why? Because they're not welcome in Africa. That's why. So they flee everywhere. Y'all seen this dude before. He's always been running around here talking about FBA. But watch this. He said the biggest enemy to Africans is African. Fam, this is one of the most FBA hating tethers on the internet. But he ain't singing that tune. Watch this.
It's Africans. We are our own worst enemy. The biggest enemy to Africans is Africans. We are our own worst enemy. If you're an African person, the person that will most likely take you down, humiliate you, or destroy you will be your African brother or your African sister. And I know some of you are going to think that I'm only referring to South Africa on this. No, I'm talking to the whole entire African continent.
Damn.
That we hate each other. There's self-programmed hate within all of us, and it's a big problem. I'll give you a scary statistic, right? In the entire African continent, we've got less than 200,000 millionaires on the continent, right? I'm gonna let that sink in. 200,000 millionaires on a continent that has millions and millions of people. We can only produce 200,000 millionaires. Now, for you to understand how sad this number is, I want you to put into context that in America, Black people are a minority, right? They are a minority there in America. But there are more millionaires there than they are on the African continent.
Whoa, wait a minute. I thought we need to work harder, nigga. Did y'all just hear this? Family, did you just hear this right there? Is the truth starting to come out? Is the truth on the table? Did this man just use FBA as an example? Did he just say, in America, they are the minority, but there's more millionaires? This ain't no lie. This ain't no lie. This contradicts all the tether language that they talk about. Now they're using FBA as a shining example. Now they're using FBA as a bright light. Any other time is work harder, nigga. I seen this man right here, who's a supreme tether. He been running around here telling FBA to work harder. Now he running around here telling FBA how much money we got and the Africans don't have it. He said they their own worst enemies. Damn.
I want you to put into context that in America, Black people are a minority, right? They are a minority there in America. But there are more millionaires there than they are on the African continent. Like, we claim that Black Americans are descendants of Africans. But there are more millionaires that are out of Africa than they are in Africa. And we're the only continent that has that dynamic, where the diaspora has produced more millionaires, billionaires, cultural icons than the entire African continent combined. You look at Europe.
Fam, is it snowing right now? This can't be real. Is this AI? This got to be AI. There's no way this is real. Hell no. This man is piping straight up and down. This man got all types of tether act right. This man is out here throwing Africa under the bus. It sounds like he's realizing that foundational Black American train done took off and he ain't got no opportunities. It sounds like he's like, damn, it's a wrap. Did he just say that FBA, quite frankly, are outclassing everybody? If we said the same thing he's saying, they'd be mad. But then we got to ask the question, why is he saying it if it isn't true? Just keeping it a buck.
That are out of Africa than they are in Africa. And we're the only continent that has that dynamic, where the diaspora has produced more millionaires, billionaires, cultural icons than the entire African continent combined. You look at Europe. Europeans can leave Europe. But if we add all the millionaires that have left Europe, they will never outnumber the amount of millionaires that are in Europe. And listen, this is on the basis of saying that white people in America are of European descent, right? For the basis of my argument, if we're saying that, right? If you calculate the number of millionaires in America that are white people, right? They still won't outnumber the amount of Europeans that are in Europe that are millionaires. And I know some of you are going to rush to the comment section and start talking about colonization, and that's why everything is the way that it is. Listen, India was also colonized. But the amount of Indians that are outside of Indians, the amount of millionaires who are Indians that are outside of India, don't outnumber the amount of Indians who are millionaires in India. Same thing.
Damn. Work harder, Tether. Work harder. Damn. So he's saying y'all can come up with the colonization excuse, but I ain't going for it. Hold up.
With the Middle East, if we're looking at Iraq, Lebanon, you're more likely, if you are born in these regions, you're more likely to become a millionaire being in those regions than actually leaving that region. We can talk about many other countries. We can talk about China. Listen, Africa is a problem. And the biggest problem of the African continent is its lack of unity.
There you go. The biggest man right here is in full-time delineation from other Africans. It's going around and FBA wears the crown.
I tell you one secret. These Igbos, they are in almost every village in this country. and they have targeted our markets. That's the retail sector. Okay, fine. Nigerians. And they have targeted our market. They are in almost every village in this country. And normal targeting their markets. That's retail sector. But our laws does not allow foreigners to engage in retailing. Okay, you promo and Nigeria ni boni and I'm so and yet to General Aint. If you Ghana Kunyaso on the 2nd April 1969. Now the same Iboni and I'm coming to myself. No, can you say you only video? Can say yeah, back then we outnumber the Ghanaians and we conquer them and take over the country.
Yeah. What he said is that there's laws in place that stop these individuals from coming over here and targeting their markets. And then he said that the fact that they come over here, the next thing they want to do is to take over the country. Now, fam, y'all just tell me if I'm wrong. Is every single thing that that man is saying, the last guy who said Africans are Africans' worst enemy and the Jamaican who said that Africans were worse than FBA, everything they said, if foundational Black Americans said the same exact thing, would these people not be tripping out, falling out, and crashing out? Would they not have a big, massive problem if foundational Black Americans said the same exact thing or something even in the ballpark or similar? Yeah, they would be. And then you got to ask this question. If you're so mad at foundational Black Americans for saying the same exact thing that other Africans are saying, then what's the real problem? I'm going to tell you what the real problem is. The real problem all goes back to our foundational Black American citizenship. That is what's the most coveted, y'all, is foundational Black American citizenship. Everybody wants to come here and be a foundational Black American, but you cannot be a foundational Black American because there's only one. Foundational Black Americans is like this. You either wake up in the morning as a foundational Black American or you just ain't. It's as simple as that. Foundational Black Americans, we're an either or culture. There's no halfway. That's why they're trying to come up with all these different things and different means. Delineation is going on amongst Africans. Xenophobia is going on amongst Africans. Divisiveness is going on amongst Africans. Nothing to do with FBA. We over here in America doing our FBA thing, exceptional. So if all of those problems are going on in Africa, including immigration, rejection, then why are the TikTok tethers mad at us? It's because we got what they want and they can't have it. And the fact that they can't have it, y'all have at it with all the feuding and fighting. But let me tell you what else is happening. Folks is going home. There was a lady who came over here from Ghana. She thought she was going to come over here and pull all that FBA's bad, FBA's this, that, and the other thing. They pulled out her card. They pulled out her visa and they said, nope, you got to go on back to Ghana. And now she's making videos crying. So you got the ICE agents that a lot of Black Americans are signing up for. You got all of the incentives that we're getting for doing that. You got the no bilingual policies that are popping off, delineation going on in Africa, xenophobia going on in Africa, and foundational Black Americans just moving forward and closer to the bag. And then you've got this as well. It's just not good for them and it's great for us. Y'all look at this woman right here and watch this. She's crying because she thought she was going to pull that visa out and they was like, nope, null and void. This is what happens when you think it's sweet and you find out that it's not. Watch this.
So I'm not one, right, to come out on social media and start to cry or talk about all my hurts as a business person, but this one hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. So apparently I was denied entrance into the US, and that's because my visa was a B1, B2 visa, which is tourism / business meetings, right? So when I landed, I was detained for like 24 hours.
Damn!
In their detention room. And when I was questioned, I told them that I was just only going to exhibit. But I didn't know any better because the US has all your data, your Instagram page, every single thing. So apparently my Instagram obviously says different because they even checked all my messages with my customers. You know, the customers have been telling that we're coming and they can pick up and, you know, all of that.
Freeze. They checked her social media accounts, like we said earlier, with all them terroristic threats, and that the United States of America and the Donald Trump administration are fine-combing their social media accounts. And they found out that she was living a life that she said she wasn't. So they said, damn your visa, damn how you acting. All of those tethers running around here trying to pop off on social media, you getting them damn accounts looked at, and everything you doing is a violation. And they told her detainment, deportation.
Long story short, this is actually for my US days. God knows I tried. I really wanted you guys to see the face behind this brand. You know, the face that puts in all the work. I wanted you guys to not only experience my product, but experience the person behind the product. And I'm not even thinking about all the money's lost because I mean, I see like it's part of life. So what you guys do for me is just support me in any way you can.
Support you any way we can. Family, how come they weren't making these videos during the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden administration? How come we didn't see these videos back then? You're seeing tether tears, tether tantrums, you're seeing tether on tether crime, tether divisiveness, tether xenophobia, and FBA is sitting back watching it all unfold. You know why you didn't see these? Because they thought it was sweet. They thought they were going to be Black Americans. I'm telling y'all, by 2025, they thought they would be Black Americans. They thought they'd be us. And now they're finding out that you can't be us. You're not like us. Nobody is. The rude awakening has happened, all right? Everybody's finding out real quick that that little eraser you thought you had is gone. That little thing you thought you was going to replace us, gone. Foundational Black Americans, Black American August is in full swing. Look what's going down right now as you look at it. All the pivotal moments. You had the Alabama, Montgomery beatdown. Then you had Cincinnati beatdown, not to mention the Mississippi beatdown. The beatdowns proceed to give you what you need. Yes, indeed. And now you got tethers crying, tethers on TikTok, and they all getting deported as well. Their conditions have changed. Ours hasn't. We still the same Black Americans that we told you we were before. We still the same foundational Black Americans who gonna get that reparations money, like we told you before. And you still the same tether who's dusty, rusty, and always musty and about to go home, like we told you before. Don't be mad at us because we don't just see the future or predict the future. We are the future. And when I say we are the future, family, we're also the past. And when I tell everybody we're the past, that means that we're foundationals. And when I say that we're foundationals, I want y'all to notice people are trying to separate us from the United States of America, but you can never separate us from who we are because this country belongs to the people right here who built this damn thing. Look at this right here, family. And this is exactly what I mean. You got more people coming out trying to get foundational Black Americans to believe that we're not the indigenous people here. And that's what this is all about. And that's the main kicker. Watch this, fam. This guy puts out this video and he's trying to tell FBA that we're not the indigenous people. When you see a Pan-African, you're going to see a $2 Tonto. When you see both of them, you tell them Black Alpha said that they can get their asses out the paint or get ran out the paint. Watch this.
You know what? I find it very, very interesting how so many Black people in this day and age are saying that, hey, we're not Black people. We're not African. We are indigenous to this land. I find that very, very odd because I'm trying to understand this whole movement as far as, hey, I don't want to be looked at as African. I'm not from there. I was born here in America. We were always here. And I never understood that I've had people told me that I'm delusional and that, I'm not from Africa. My family's not from Africa. We've always been here, so and so, blah, blah, blah. I even saw a comment where someone said that 85% of the Black people in America are indigenous to this land. Very interesting, right? Well, I did my family history, and I've been doing it since 2013. And so it's been, 12 years that I've been doing my family history. And I've never run across anything that suggests that my family were always here.
Then you must be a tether. How about that one, then, family? How about you don't know your history? How about that one? You ever notice that, fam? I did a test, and the test told me that I ain't got no evidence of being here because you're probably not from here. How about that one? Because everybody else, we see that we are from here. Everybody else, we got the evidence. So whose word are you going to take on the situation, my brothers and sisters? Are you going to take the 60 million certified foundational Black American lineage, heritage, and culture where all of our evidence adds up? Or are you going to take this random guy who says, I ain't seen nothing? So basically, you're just a tether. And if you're a tether, be proud you're a tether. If you're scared, just say you're scared. There's a church down the street and around the corner. You can go there, but we ain't scared.
Everything that I've ran across always suggested my family came from Africa. I even have cousins within my DNA match list who are in Africa, who live in Africa. That means that we are.
Oh, you a damn tether. Fam, we ain't got no cousins that are in Africa. Fam, I got some cousins in Ohio on the east side. I got some cousins in Georgia, Savannah on the east side. I ain't got no cousins in Africa. Don't come tell me that you got some cousins in Africa and you somehow are still a Black American. There ain't no Black American who got a cousin in Africa unless you just got here yesterday. You are either a first generation tether or a second generation tether. And remember, both of those are a full tether, a full-time tether. You got a cousin from Africa. You don't tell that story and get the hell up out of here.
Closely related, basically. If they're in your DNA match list, that means that you're either related a little, further down the line, or they're close. You're closely related to that person. But either way, if you have African ancestry within your DNA match list, all of your cousins and stuff like that, that means that you guys share a common ancestor within the last maybe 300 years. Depending on how far back they are. Within the last 300.
The last 300 years, family. I want y'all to notice what he just said. He said that you share a common ancestor within the last 300 years. Just by going off the logic of we got here as slaves, that doesn't compute. Now, if you want to go by the reality that we've been here for hundreds, thousands of years, then that really don't compute. Just by basing it off of 1619, that's cap. So if you want to take it back further, then that's quadruple, 100 infinity cap. This man ain't got none of his research. He ain't got none of his receipts. And to be quite frank with you, I think he's lying. I think this man's lying. I think this is the full-time tether. I think he just got here yesterday off of an inner tube that sank. And now he's trying to run this. I did my research and it said that I'm not y'all neither. Family, this is a tether. I know a tether when I see one. This man is a damn tether.
Years. So that means that you're African. You have family that have come from Africa.
And why does he keep saying you guys? And there go Gap. Man, this is a damn tether. This man got the tether gap. He got the tether gap and he's trying to tell us something. Fam, this is a damn tether. This is a tether right here. Trying to tell us, man, if you got I knew a gap was going to get detected. Do we got a gap detected, y'all? We got a gap detected. This ain't no damn FBA. This ain't no FBA. This is another Pan-African who's going out of his way to try to scare FBA from being the natives. I told y'all, Tonto and Mutombo are teaming up. And both of them, Tonto and Mutombo, are trying like hell to get us not to be FBA, family. That man, I knew a gap was going to be somewhere in there. This is a damn tether.
And I have those all over my DNA match list. A lot of people from Africa who I've actually got in contact with, and their family, basically they're saying that, well, they don't have any family that's in America, so that's a telltale, basically saying that, hey, you actually do have some African ancestry within you.
And that gap is the telltale that you would tether. And notice he got that damn hat on too. And I'm looking, and just by that angle, look like that hairline ain't there neither, family. He got more hair on his mustache then his hairline. This is a tether, y'all, trying to perpetrate the fraud like he's us so he can kind of trick us and scare us out of our position. We're not going nowhere. We're not moving off our pivot. You can't get hundreds of thousands of foundational Black American ancestral presence to go with your TikTok video, Tether man.
And I've spoke to plenty of people. I've done my grandmother's research. I've done my mom's research, my father's research. All of them lead back to Africa. Me, myself, I might look like, that I'm kind of mixed with, some stuff, which I think, mostly most Black Americans are mixed, mixed around and stuff like that. But some of us have a higher African DNA percentage than others. Mine, I've took my DNA test on numerous sites. All of my DNA tests come back that I'm 90% African.
90% African? Did this man get off my goddamn screen? This man just said he's 90% African. You are an African then, family. You're a damn African fam. There's Africans who come here as immigrants, and they're not 90% African. So if this man's trying to get us to believe that we're 90% African, then you know damn well he's out of pocket. This dude right here is a tether, all right? And he's got the same tether tactics, and he's in the same tether situation. And you've been seeing a lot of that coming out here, fam. And I've been telling everybody, you got to watch these individuals because they're getting more and more desperate right now because there's quite frankly nowhere to run to. There's nowhere to hide, all right? And when you start saying 90% African, notice that all of these studies that they always do, they never have any receipts about it. There's never any receipts to these people who claim all of these outlandish, preposterous things about lineage, heritage, and culture. You really can't see nothing. They don't even show their hairline. So what makes you think that they're going to show their actual results? You're not going to see none. That's just what it is. So now we're witnessing this and we're pulling out paperwork and we're calling things out and nothing's adding up in their favor, fam. This is a wrap. It's stone cold. They know that our ancestral presence right here is not to be denied. So if you add up all of the things statistically that's moving foundational Black Americans, let me give y'all the two things, okay? First off, it's us currently right here, right now, our citizenship to America, it's coveted. It's also the fact that people don't like the exceptional nature in which we resist supremacy and we push back on supremacy. And then they don't like the indigenous native status. Not in a particular order, but you're going to see those three things are going to be the trigger points that make everybody afraid. Foundational Black Americans being the natives to America, that means we're the most American. And if we're the most American, then that means everybody else in the social pecking order has to come after us. And they don't like that fact because the system of supremacy is conflicting with that. See, everybody right now is in this conflicting status of what the dominant society and the system of supremacy, a system in which 99% of non-FBAs adore. They don't like the fact that that's conflicting with the fact that foundational Black Americans are the indigenous, native, original people here. Because how can you really have that type of hatred for people that you know in the social pecking order you're beneath? This is twisting their brains up. This is killing their logic. They don't like that fact. So we as FBA who've been representing, this is powerful. The best thing we ever did was get a lineage-based culture. But you see how I just told you, you're always going to see Mr. Lubumba, Mr. Mutombo, and the $2 Tonto. Watch this right here. This is another $2 Tonto. And he's coming out now. And if you look at social media, the people who make the most videos about FBA are Pan-Africans and $2 Tontos. Those are the main people who make videos about FBA. Because remember, the Pan-African wants us not to be American, so he can say we're Africans and he can get our reparations money, right? And then the $2 Tonto, he doesn't want us to be Americans because he understands that foundational Black Americans are the people he claims he is. So now you're starting to see another element of Tether Voltron. Watch this right here, y'all. This is what I mean. And by the way, I highly suspect that this man is on some of that Tonto dust, straight up. And by the way, this is a $5 Tonto anyway, all right? So when you talk about the $5 Tonto, the $2 Tonto, and the $1 Tonto, this is what you get. But I want y'all to notice, this man, he's got the 7-year itch, and it looks like he's on that reservation doing some of that dust. But watch this, y'all.
I wanted to say something quick. So I made a video probably 1 or 2 weeks ago talking about pretendianism, asking them a question about like, if you're all pretendians, and why do you like steal culture and stuff, and why do you have to steal from other group's culture? And I made a lot of pretendians mad, and I don't care. So I'm gonna make y'all even more mad by saying this: you will never be natives like us because you don't know how to live the native lifestyle.
The native, not what? Obviously some cocaine. Boy, this man over there scratching, ain't he? And y'all don't know what it is. It's you need to go ahead and get some of that dust off your partner. All right, look like you done hit a whole 8 ball, and you over there itching. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
You don't know how to. All you know how to do is get feathers, wear feathers, talk about, oh, I got to do this for me. I got to do this for me. Think about being natives. You got to care about your people. You don't care about your people. You pretendians are very selfish. You don't care about yourselves. It's like I said, in the last video I made, ego kills. Ego really kills. Ego can kill and can really colonize. You know, egotism, it is a form of colonialism. And you pretendians would never have the experience of going into the city, talking with your other native homies and talking about how can we lift our people up and how can we find work in the city and decolonize when we're in this new age of technology and revolution, and how can we adapt and how can we use our people's stories and songs. You will never go through that. You will never have that because you're all fake and you're not native. So yeah, I want to talk about us all being Siberians. Shoot, my people didn't see your people at the border, if that's the case. So
what? Yeah, because we were already here. Notice though, he got to address the Siberian thing. Y'all notice now, he didn't have to address that a few years ago. I told y'all they mad about that.
You will never go through that. You will never have that because you're all fake and you're not native. So yeah, I want to talk about us all being Siberians. Shoot, my people didn't see your people at the border, if that's the case. So keep talking, stay mad.
Keep scratching, stay high. Listen, they all know that we are the indigenous people. Fam, we are having a certified renaissance on multiple fronts in the United States of America. You can't make this up, y'all. There's like 7 movements in one, but it's all wrapped around lineage base. This lineage based movement is showing itself and it's exhibiting itself in a multiple form. You have our reparations movement. Yes. You also have our indigenous status, our reclaiming of our culture. That's another one, as well as all of our art forms. This is a powerful thing. And it's why I tell y'all, they're mad now that FBA has canceled out every excuse that they were using back in the day. Now we're going to go ahead and get on the $2 Tonto. Everybody just seen how the Creeks, the real Indians, they were included now in a lot of those tribes and now the reparations and a lot of those treaties. Family, that would have never happened before this lineage-based movement, okay? The fact that you're seeing all of that happen, that is just more indicative of this culture moving forward, fam. That man had to make that video because he's really mad. Remember, whenever they say something about us, that's just projection, okay? So when they tell us we're mad, he's really mad when he looks in the mirror. When they tell us that we're upset, he's really upset that he has to address it. When they tell us that we're the bad guys, they deep down inside know that they're the sad guys. They're upset, they're foul, they're frauds, and they got to deal with the reality that foundational Black Americans, we ain't going nowhere, we right here. How would you feel if you've been running around here for hundreds of years and you got a fake identity given to you? And now this lineage-based movement shows up and says, give it back, Tonto, peace out. They don't like that. And by the way, they're not in a condition right now because they fumbled every bag they had. You fumbled the reservations. You fumbled your reparations. It's not coming back around the corner. Imagine seeing the people that you said that you were, the people whose identity that you stole. Imagine seeing them now get the reparations that you got based on stealing their name, and you squandered it. And now they know we're about to get our reparations based on reality. How do they feel about that? How would that make them feel? Terrible. Okay, yeah, what they say, and he needs to worry about that crack is whack, okay? Because he looking like he done got whacked upside the head with a whole 8 ball. And that's why he's sitting there scratching all over the place, because that's what you did with your reparations money, okay? Your reparations money, you drank it with some of that reservation liquor. Clearly, you done snorted it with some of that reservation scrack. And now you're out here making TikTok videos about my lineage because you understand the reparations we gonna get. Oh, we gonna flip it. Everybody's afraid that we're gonna flip it. See, they understand our greatness and our exceptional nature of persevering. The very fact that we've persevered through everything, that petrifies them in terms of us getting reparations. Foundational Black Americans, we've done more with less. We are the ultimate hustlers. Y'all want to know the very first hustle that America has ever seen? The very first hustle, when people showed up and they said, what the hell is a hustle? Who the hell is a hustler? And they looked at FBA. The first hustle that America ever saw was they gave us lemons and we made lemonade. That's the very first hustle. And the fact that we got those lemons, made us some lemonade, is the same exact way we're going to get this reparations and we're going to take over the game. Nobody wants us to get money because look how much we've done by being deprived of money, okay? We're the last hired, the first fired. We're being deprived of food, education, welfare, and resources all throughout the country. You got Black American men and women who are subjected to all types of injustices and wrongdoings based on the hands of the system of supremacy. You got millions of migrants who come here to this country, disrespect us, and get the tangibles that belong to us, and we're still above them. And this has been going on for years. So no, they don't want foundational Black Americans to get reparations. That thought keeps them up at night. Fam, they're up right now and won't get no damn sleep because of FBA. You'd be shocked if you knew how much FBA was on these people's brain. They think about FBA so much it's unhealthy. And they don't like the very fact that that reparations bag is coming. And what they really don't like the fact of is this right here. They don't like the fact that we've been pulling out these damn receipts. And every receipt that we pull out is showing more and more evidence that Black Americans are the true indigenous people of the United States of America. And we have a multitude of foundational Black Americans who have said this, scholars who have said it. I know scholars who have told me personally the facts about this. Shout out to Kabahai Watha Kamene. Okay, much respect. RIP to our great brother David M. Hotep. Okay, Ivan Sertiman has also made these. And I want y'all to see this. The Black presidents in America before Columbus. Yep. This was an article placed out years ago. Okay. And it shows you all different types of them speaking about ancient skeletons. They start talking about how they found so much of a presence here in the United States of America previous to Tonto ever showing up. Because remember, Tonto only claims that he's been in the United States of America for about 25 to 30,000 years. Well, how come you can show us foundational Black Americans and evidence of human presence here that predates that truly, literally, y'all, by 100,000 years? You're talking about 100,000 years versus 25,000 years. They don't like that. And this coincides with what all of our ancestors have told us. Remember, fam, our ancestors been telling a different story than what their ancestors have been telling. Ancient skeletons provide substantial evidence of early existence of Blacks. Notice in this article, they're not talking about humans. They're talking about Black people. The most substantial evidence supporting the presence of early Blacks in America are ancient skeletons. In addition to the widely publicized 1975 discovery by Smithsonian Institution team of scientists of two Negro male skeletons. And remember, at this time, we're classified as Negro. So family, they're calling us out verbatim by name who the hell we were. This ain't just saying, oh yeah, some Negro. No. Negro is what we were classified as. That would be the equivalent of them saying skeletons are some FBAs. They're making it crystal clear with no misinterpretation. They want you to know who it is. And this was in 1975. And this is also by a lot of white scientists, not to mention the Black American scientists, who are all peer-reviewed as well. Remember, if you guys ever check out the book by David M. Hotep, he talks about how everything in existence of foundational Black Americans predates what they previously thought, and it's peer-reviewed. You will not find one peer-reviewed book stating that $2 Tonto was here in the United States of America, because their timelines just quite frankly don't exist. However, our timelines exist and they add up. So when the Smithsonians and the scientists are saying the same exact thing, you add it all up to the same. They say Negro male skeletons in the grave in the United States, Virgin Islands dating back to AD 1250. A number of other anthropologists have long insisted that the many early American skeletons represent Black men, not to mention the Black women that they would later find after this. Family, you cannot make none of this up. These people know what it is. And if you want to take it a step further, this right here is very good, because a lot of times when you start talking about archaeology and you start talking about evidence, one of the main things that we always talk about is skeleton bones, right? That's one of the things. Let me tell you how cold we are. Oh, and certified salute to all of y'all, because I am astonished, okay, by how many Black American brothers and sisters of all age groups. Fam, I seen some 16 and 17-year-olds, and they was putting down receipts on the table that was completely outclassing a 77-year-old Tonto, Okay, Pocahontas, you ain't got nothing on my good sister right here who's 15 years old. Okay, so you got brothers and sisters who are in their teens and they out here causing all types of wreck with these people. You know why? It's because our stories that are ancestrally passed down coincides directly with what scientists say. Notice that Tonto's stories don't match scientists. They said they came over here in the Bering Straits. Scientists now said that that doesn't add up. Now they're saying that they island hopped, okay, all across the Samoas into Brazil, and that doesn't add up. So basically what I'm telling you is you can have an archaeologist and you can have grandma, and they're going to tell the same story. You can't do that, Mr. Tonto. You can have a scientist make a discovery of 100,000 years ago, and it's going to add up exactly what Grandpa told us. You can't do that, Tonto. So not only do we have the statistical and the data and the factual, actual sentiments on our side, we also have sitting on Grandma's lap, and she says, baby, we ain't come from no damn Africa. We are American Indians. And that term right there, Black American Indian, a foundational Black American, a certified foundational Black American freedman, that reigns fear in all of these people. However, when you start talking about bones, that's one thing. But there's other means to find out who was here first. There's a lot of means, like all the mounds that are here in America. Yes. And by the way, our people are the only ones who ever really talked about the mounds. Y'all notice you never heard any of the Tontos talk about mounds. They never bring that up. You don't never hear them talk about mounds. That right there is something that Black Americans talk about. Matter of fact, whenever I bring that up to a Black American, they be like, oh, yeah, I know about that. Yeah. They got them in Ohio. They got them in Tennessee. They got them in Kentucky. You got them in Georgia, South Carolina. Yeah, you got mounds all over the place. Family, y'all tell me the time that you've ever heard a Tonto talk about mounds. Let's be real. Only thing they talk about is we were here first, and then the W man came over here, and he was mean to us. Other than that, they ain't got no facts and no damn receipts. They ain't got no elongated stories. They ain't got no pass-me-downs. They give you the most vague interpretation of indigenous native culture because they're not the natives. We give very good, clear breakdowns. And we got brothers and sisters who never met that all add up. Your stories that you heard from your grandma match up stories that I heard from my grandma, and the archaeologists, they match up with everything we saying. Who run it? Who run it? It ain't them, it's us. We are not from Africa. We are Black Americans, and we are the indigenous people here. And not only do you have mounds, not only do you have bones, you also have footprints. And we've shown this before, and I'm like to believe that I'm the only one in the Black media who has posted this. And here are we to show everybody. Family, the White Sands footprints are a set of human footprints discovered in 2009 in the White Sands National Park in New Mexico. Let me tell you guys, I have personally been to the White Sands in New Mexico, and I was there actually in 2009. So shout out to the family. In 2021, they were carbon dated based on seeds found in the sediment layers to between 21 to 23,000 years ago. That date range is currently subjected to science debate, but if it's correct, the footprints would be one of, if not the oldest evidence of humans in the Americas. Early theories that humans settled in the Americas begin at the last ice age of about 13 to 16,000 years ago, meaning the people that they said came here, Tonto, that right there is the 13 to 16,000 year ago people. And we know that they couldn't have came here anywhere before 13 to 16,000 years ago, because the place that they crossed over, the Bering Straits, was still a frozen land cap. And we talked about this before. So if they're telling us that the original belief was 13 to 16,000 years ago, and now they're saying, oh, damn, my bad, dog, we was wrong. It was really more like 21 to 23,000. Not to mention what we know as Black Americans that predates that by another 50,000 years. That means that what they tell us cannot be true. This right here puts an end to the Tontos came over the Bering Straits. How can you come over the Bering Straits when it was frozen? You couldn't. And now they're trying to make statements saying, oh, no, it wasn't the Bering Straits that we came over. We was land hopping across the Pacific Ocean, and we ended up in South America. Impossible. You're saying that basically you grew wings and you flew. And last time I checked, family, y'all ain't got no damn wings and you ain't flying. Only time you're flying is a lot of y'all flying to go back home in deportation on a flight sponsored by Tom Homan. But other than that, your facts and your evidence and your receipts don't add up. So you can make all of your crack is whack videos on all of that reservation liquor, and you can get mad and upset that you crashed all the way out in terms of your reparations money. But what you cannot say is that foundational Black Americans aren't the original people. Family, I believe that we put the biggest receipts on the table. I believe that these people cannot compute what FBA is saying, but whether you can, you can't, you will, or you won't, it does not deal with anything other than we got the facts on our table. So yes, we are the originators. Yes, we are the first ones. And yes, these conversations with this dialogue, us gathering and having this type of communication amongst ourselves is truly changing the world. Why do y'all think they don't never want us in a environment where we're radiating and permeating foundational Black American energy? Because somebody gonna say something. Somebody else is gonna say, I heard that too. Then we're going to start pulling out photo albums and we're going to put receipts on the table. Then we're going to start communicating. And then we're going to find out that every single thing that they ever told us was a lie. They lied to us when they said that we are all African. They lied to us when they told us that foundational Black Americans weren't the indigenous people. And by the way, going back to Mr. Lumbumba, we done already gave Tonto that work. He's over there in the corner, crashed out, face planted off that liquor and off that smack. Okay. You know, keeping it real. But if you want to go there and take it another step, family, how about this one? Mr. Lumbumba, I thought you said we was Africans who all came here in the slave trade. Well, if we're Africans who came here in the slave trade, then how do you tell me a story about those right there? Last time I checked, 1619 ain't 23,000 years ago. Last time I checked, 1619 ain't 30,000, 40,000 years ago. So y'all been trying to tell foundational Black Americans that we came here as slaves? That's what you're trying to tell foundational Black Americans. Well, how come none of the numbers add up? And how come we have evidence that predates everything you said? And don't tell me that those feet print are Tonto, because we just proved to you that there's no possible way that that could happen. And now scientists are going back to the table and scientists are saying, you know what? Basically, Black Americans, y'all were right and we were wrong. And it's not the fact that we were right and they were wrong. It's the fact that we were telling the truth and they were lying. Get that right, fam. Anytime somebody tries to tell you that you're right and they were wrong, that's them trying to fancy it up. That's a nice way of saying you weren't wrong, you were lying. You're not right, you've been telling the truth. So it's not about right or wrong, it's about the truth versus the lie. And it's about this generation and this era reclaiming the truth. We didn't make nothing up. We ain't been right the whole time. We put a flag in the ground and that flag says truth. And it got FBA on it too. Okay. Black American status, certified. So that's what's got everybody afraid. So if you look at it, family, we have systematically, strategically went down the list of everybody who's been conning us, hustling us, and milking themselves and lynching off of anything that they possibly feel that they could do. And it's not working. Okay. You're not going to lynch my history. That's the bottom line, okay? They've been trying to lynch our history. That's what they want to do, fam, so they can get it up out of here. And we are stronger than ever, like I've been saying, okay? Now, if you look at it, everything is coming back around. We have completely canceled the scam Africanism and we all came here slaves. That's over with. Stands on no ground. We have completely canceled the $2 Tonto. So when both of these people are out the way, what does that leave you with? The only lineage, heritage, and culture on the face of the earth that's been putting in work for the United States. Do you really believe that it's a coincidence that foundational Black Americans in this generation are the ones who are standing on the most business just by coincidence, just by happenstance? Or is it the fact that foundational Black Americans, we only doing what we only know, and what we know is each other. What we know is this landmass, and our representation and our affiliation and our relationship with the United States of America, quite frankly, whether they want to admit it or not, just runs deeper than everybody else's. And what they should do is just bow on down and accept it. And when I talk about accepting it, they can accept this. Family, here's another one. The ancestors of Native Americans are widely believed to have migrated from Siberia to North America, crossing the barren land bridge during the last ice age. That was the original lie. Now, did I not just show you something that predates the original lie? Remember, family, that right there is the Bering Straits. That right there is Siberia. And they say they went into North America. But every single scientist who told you they did that, those same scientists will also tell you that they couldn't have did that no more than 15,000 years ago. So how do you explain the 20 to 30,000 year old prints? Basically BS. So that right there, we have crippled the Bering Straits lie. Family, do y'all know how long they've been saying that? Do you know how long they've been running that game, y'all? The fact that foundational Black Americans have ruined that lie, oh man, that's powerful. Oh man, that's beyond powerful. People don't understand the power in which that is. They can't run the Bering Straits lie no more, fam. They've been telling that lie longer than damn near anything. So you, as FBA, a certified foundational Black American brethren, you can go ahead and take credit, full credit, for ending that one as well. And this is why you get those TikTok videos. This is why these people are so upset. This is why they can't stand us. You ain't supposed to be a Black American out here debunking lies that they've been telling for 100 years. You ain't supposed to be a Black American out here regulating and exposing people who've been telling these games for years beyond years that they can't even come up with no more. You ain't supposed to do that. So they're all living in the reality that they don't want to live in. And that reality that they don't want to live in is all based on what we've been saying. I mean, damn. You got to understand, fam. They've been putting that in the history books for years. The fact that we debunked that, family, we did that without any social backing. Nobody financed it. We just did that off of good, strong, working class, Black American power and energy. And that shows you that that good working class, foundational Black American grassroots energy can conquer it all. You can spend every single dollar in which they have. You can put it in all the textbooks. You can tell that lie for hundreds of years. Where did it get you? It ain't get you nowhere, did it? It ain't get you nowhere. Some good FBA showed up with some smart minds, and we put an end to all of that. So the fact that they jumped off of that lie right there, right? That's the lie that they jumped off of. Let me show y'all the new lie that they're on now. And y'all gonna laugh. Get ready to laugh at this one. Y'all see that right there, right? Okay, up here is the Bering Straits. Now we have debunked the lie that they came from over the Bering Straits. Fam, we in class here today, family. We in super duper certified class. Right up here is the Bering Straits, and we went ahead and debunked that one. Do y'all know now they're saying that they island hopped from here all the way into South America? Family, how'd you do that? So they went from flying to growing fins and swimming now, I guess, right? Is that what they're trying to tell us, fam? Do y'all see that we made them move their lie from the northern part of the Pacific Ocean now down to the southern part of the Pacific Ocean, family? Do y'all know that the Pacific Ocean is so big you can fit every single continent inside of this? I'm not lying. Look it up. The Pacific Ocean, that gap right there, is so big you can fit every continent in there. So you ain't go across no damn Pacific Ocean. And you're only telling that lie is because foundational Black Americans exposed the Bering Straits lie. And we did that without a scientist calling us on the phone. We did that without anybody giving us any support. Y'all didn't want us to do it, which only goes to show you again, fam, for the billionth, trillionth time, that foundational Black Americans, us, lineage, strong, powerful, certified, we do whatever the hell we want because we keeping it all the way real. And that realness that we keeping it all the way has got these people all the way afraid. What you're dealing with are people who've been running around here with identity theft, and you've been stealing foundational Black American culture, and you got away with it with the African American. You got away with it with the person of color, but you will never get away with it. You ain't getting away with it, and you got to deal with it with the foundational Black American certified. You see what we're talking about. So no, you ain't came over the Bering Straits when you said. You damn sure didn't go from the biggest ocean. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true Ali started dropping it. The problem is we started thinking like the colonists to know what true Ali started dropping.
Does anybody know this gentleman, Mateo Kirkow? Raise your hand if you know Mateo Kirkow. Mateo Kirikow, and by the way, you're not strange. I've done this presentation all over the country. Nobody has ever heard of Mateo Kirikow. I will explain to you why this is profound. Mateo Kirikow was a Marxist dictator of a country in Africa called Dahomey. In about 1979, 1980, he left that post, but in the early 1990s, he converted to Christianity, and in 1996, he was democratically elected president of the new country. They renamed the country called Benin, Africa. There's Benin, Africa. Now, in 1999, Mateo Kirikow, as president of Benin, Africa, came to the United States of America to do three things. The first thing is to apologize. The second is to seek forgiveness. And the third thing is to seek reconciliation for his country's participation in the African slave trade. Did anybody hear about that? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the head of state of an African nation who came to the United States of America to apologize for his country's export of 3 million of their own people in the African slave trade, and nobody in the United States of America has heard about it. How could that be? I'll make it even more profound. In 2003, he sent a delegation to tour the United States, churches and schools, to do the exact same thing, to apologize, seek forgiveness, and reconciliation for his country's participation in the African slave trade. This is what they said. In the name of the government of the people of Benin, on behalf of President Mateo Kirikow, I say to you all, we are sorry, we are deeply, deeply sorry. President Kirikow knows the damage on our side that came from slavery. He knows how this robbed our own society at home, how it turned us against each other, and we believe it is easy to say that those other people did it, but we also believe that if we were not helping them, if we did not assist them, if we did not play a role in it, it would not have happened. Do you think this might have some impact on race relations in the United States of America? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, slavery, race, racism, white guilt, political correctness has never been an issue of black versus white. It has always been an issue of good versus evil. It has always been an issue of good versus evil. The key is for us to come together on the side of good, not black versus white, to come together on the side of good so that we can collectively fight evil. These gentlemen came over here to seek that reconciliation so that they could better their own country. And the United States of America ignored them. The forces, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, are freedom versus control. The forces of control kept this information muted enough that we have forgotten that they ever came to America. This is what we're dealing with, guys. This is what we're fighting.